Looks like Detillier just got into the back of Eric Alter, and Eric Alter went sideways into John Michael Sinet, and then it was just bedlam from that point.
One of those things that we saw as inevitable, Eric having those connection issues that Andrew Fayash had mentioned earlier. That happened with Jeremy Davis, and we've been noticing Eric having them off and on, and that may or may not have led to be the issue here, but just to find out if these connectivity issues are going to be the cause of these crashes, so to speak.
It looks like we've got Eric Alter, John Michael Sinet, Daniel Deffler, Mike Kiersted, Scott Rutherford, Sean Hall. Kiersted takes a hard hit against the inside wall in the backstretch.
Yeah, unfortunately for Kiersted right there, nowhere to go. Eric Alter just gets turned right in front of him. Ends up sliding all the way back across the track.
I guess we'll have to see. I don't know. Once again, with the one reset, I don't know which one, which guys have a reset still available to them, and see how many cars we can get put back together here.
Yeah, it should be interesting to see. It's not something that was easily trackable the first half of this race, but should be able to find out here shortly after the first round of stops.
Easily trackable? I don't have that much paper. Quite a few guys using resets. I see it looks like Chad Lang's been in the pits. He's out. Scott Rutherford is sitting in the pits currently. Sean Hall as well. I know Sean's car was heavily damaged from the wreck. He got the inside wall. And John Michael Sinet is also sitting in the pits. I have to guess that most of those guys do not have resets available to them.
As we figured would probably be the case for most everybody that was running mid-pack at this point towards the front now. All having probably been caught up in one aspect or another in previous incidents.
Taking a look at Eric Alter's car here, I don't see any damage on that. I'm guessing he probably got a resetter and maybe just got really lucky after spinning in that wreck.
Yeah, looking through the replay, he got pretty lucky. Looks like Mike Kiersted might have got a piece of the door, but not really seeing any damage reflecting that. And he had been running actually very admirably up front, so if he had a reset, he probably would have not had to use it until this point.
Yeah, Matt, it looks like his car's completely clean, so he'll be good to go. I'm sure he used a reset on that one.
Much to the dismay of those running up front, I imagine. Eric's been fast all day, and I imagine he'll continue to be fast. A little bit of traffic to contend with, but he's got Jeremy Davis right in front of him right now, which is always a good partner to have with you.
It will definitely be interesting to see if Alter can come back through the field here as fast as he's been. Looks like he's going to take the green flag, and let's see, he's running 10th right now. We're going to probably have about 12 laps to go. If we're lucky enough to go green, we'll see if he can get by everyone. This will be really, really interesting to see.
Yeah, absolutely. 12 laps, enough time for a really good shootout to the finish. You figure about a lap and a half, 2 laps to really get up to speed and kind of get things sorted out. There's a nice 10-lap shootout to the finish. We'll see if Andrew Fayash can hold off Jason Hedrick and Chad Detillier there, and we'll see if Eric Alter can work his way up from the 10th spot and at least snag a top 5 out of this.
Yeah, he's had the fastest car all day. He was fastest in practice, fastest in qualifying. So I'm actually gonna really look forward to watching to see if he can get through the pack here.
Looks like John Michael Chenette might have used up his reset earlier in the race. I know there was a point of discussion there. His car looked pretty like it had been banged up all race, but it looked fairly consistent with after the first accident. But we're showing him now 1 lap down. More than likely going to go more than one.
Actually, looks like he and Rutherford just left pit lane right in front of the pace car here. So they're going to remain. Looks like Rutherford's also a lap down, so those two will be a lap down together. But they are two very damaged cars.
Yeah, very unfortunate. John Michael found himself caught up in some stuff early, but was running right there towards the front. Had come back from a little bit of adversity, but yeah, the front of that car very visibly torn up. No doubt going to affect his ability to really get much farther than where he is now.
Yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. These guys, a lot of them, when you talk to them, they'll tell you that you want to get to the front of these races, especially at Talladega. Either go way to the back or go up in front, because those were you can avoid the wrecks. And unfortunately, a lot of these wrecks have occurred in the front of the field, and so these guys that were pushing hard trying to get to the front, they've now been caught up in these incidents.
Yeah, the very unfortunate part of the super speedway nose to tail, side by side, 2 lanes of racing is, the danger zone people always tell you is that 6th, 7th place on back, and unfortunately with super speedway racing, that's not too far off from the leader. You got 12 cars bunched up within less than half a second of each other. That's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah, unfortunately we've seen our share here. Quite a few accidents in this race, and but I think it's going to be exciting these last 12 laps or so.
Looks like Chad Tillier is going to be lining up behind Andrew Fayash with Kevin Walker behind him and Mike Alexander back there. You have Jason Hendrick on the outside line with Daniel Deffler and Kevin Myers. So a couple good cars back behind Hendrick. Fayash is probably going to end up doing most of the work here on the restart. See who can give him a good shove and see if they can keep this lead up that he's got going on here.
You got to give a call to Daniel Deffler here. He qualified 6th and has kind of just been mired in the middle of the pack, and here he has found himself in the top 5. Let's see if he's got anything for these guys as well.
Fayash with a great restart again. A little bit of a gap there, but you got Daniel Deffler right up on the back of Jason Hedrick. Both restarted really equally, kind of closing that gap. Deffler looks like he's going to leave Hedrick out to dry.
And Hedrick is stuck on the top side with no help. Kevin Myers quite a few car length back. Looks like Jason's just going to slide back here. Kevin, he might get enough of a run just to want to go around him.
And Jason kind of getting hung out to dry in the middle. We'll see if that tandem of Kevin Myers and Glenn Craig can get around him, or if Jason can scoot back up in front of him and pick him up and see if they can't make another charge toward the front.
Looks like help's on the way. Eric Alter coming up to push Jason. Let's see what he can do. Behind them, looks like Chad Lang is also going to join that outside group.
Very fast group of cars trying to bunch their way up and work their way around on the outside. Kevin Myers kind of joining up with that group now, and Glenn Cray in tow. We've seen that outside line work. It may not have worked the best down the back straightaway, but coming around to the start-finish line after the trial was when that outside line has had the advantage. So we'll see if Eric Alter can't get Jason Hedrick back to the lead.
Looks like Kevin Myers is going to try to still work that far outside, as he's running in the 3rd lane all by himself. He's actually got Glenn Cray that's there with him. I think a couple of these guys are still biding their time. I think Eric Myers is still sitting back there off the back of the field, just waiting to see what happens.
It's hard to stray away from the strategy that's been working so far, and Eric Myers has pretty much avoided everything that's been thrown his way.
At some point, he's going to have to decide when is go time.
If he bunches up with Kevin Myers and the rest of the group on the outside, he's got a chance to pick up some positions there.
Unfortunately, that top side really isn't going anywhere. It's just side by side with Daniel Deffler here.